This is really a slow and tedious process. So why make bolts when you can buy them? Well, short answer is I need them for this Mogul project. Longer answer is I need them and they are expensive. If you buy high crown bolts, there's one place you can buy them. They're very nice, very good quality, but they're $16 a piece for this size. This is a 1/2 inch 13 thread 1 inch long bolt, and it's $16. And compare that to the bolt on the right that's a hardware store bolt you can go get for 60 cents. You can see the difference in construction. The high crown bolt has a heavier head. It's a little bigger and it's got a crown on the top of it, very decorative. That's what these bolts were decorative solutions for late 19th century, early 20th century machinery. So we're going to be making them. These bolts were a decorative solution for fastening early vintage machinery, engines, tractors, stuff like that. Very pretty. I needed several of them. I need 12 this size and some other sizes as well, so I'd have easily $300 in these if I bought them, so I just make them. You got to have some tooling and some equipment to do this, though. You need a lathe, a good lathe, to thread on. You need a threading die, some tooling for your lathe, and a solution for cutting them off and shaping them. So got all that for the restoration process, so I'm going to walk you through this process and we'll make a bolt. Got a 3-foot long piece of 5/8 hex stock chucked up in the lathe, ready to go. Going to be turning it down. Need to get it down to the nominal 1/2 inch dimension. I usually go about 5 thousandths under that when I'm making these bolts. This is just regular mild steel, nothing special there. You can see I'm starting to make some cuts there. Lathe's running about 700 RPM, but the camera kind of aliases that down, makes it look kind of funny, but it is running about 700 RPM. So I'm just going to make several passes here and clean this up, and then we'll get on to threading. Switched over to my threading insert, doing 13 threads per inch. I got the lathe set up for that. This is a very tedious part of the process. Paying attention here, not screwing something up. These inserts are about 30 bucks a piece, so I don't want to break one of those. So I'm just going to be making a scratch pass here in a second that just touches off on the part, and I can check that I think the thread pattern looks good, and keep going. The lathe is running that slow. I've got it in back gear now for a reason, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Here we are a little closer to the work, making my scratch pass. You'll notice I've got a groove cut back there at the head of the bolt. That's so that the insert has clearance when I go to the end and I stop advancing before I pull back on it. I don't want to break the insert. Very important. If I was on a CNC machine, I wouldn't have to have that. The lead out would be very consistent, but doing it manually, you need a little bit of breathing room there. So I'll clean that all up with dye when I do the final thread. So I'm just going to make a few passes here. I did have to take about 200 thousandths off of this hex shaft just to get it down to final dimension. So I'm going to start making my cut here, and then we'll get to threading this bolt. And here we go. I'm going to make a pass here. I'm taking about 10 thousandths cut. I'm going to be cutting about 30-40% of the thread depth here. That'll just be enough for the die to get a good start in, so it's square and I can finish it up with the die. I could cut them all in this procedure here, but it just takes too long. So I'm just going to make a couple of passes here so you can kind of see what's going on. I run in to my 0 again, and then I advance the compound. The compound is set at the 29-degree angle for SAE threads, and then we'll just cut a few threads here, and then I'll be using the die to finish it up. This lathe I'm using is my 1966 5914 Clausing. Very nice lathe. It's very tight. That's what you need for cutting threads. One main reason that I'm running so slow is because I am cutting manually here, and as this advances in, if I missed the disengage point, I would crash that insert into the head of the bolt there and break it, and then there'd go a $30 insert. So I'm just going to run in back gear here and thread slow. If it was an automatic machine, I could run faster, or CNC for sure. But manually doing this, I'll just run it slow and not break anything, and it all comes out in the end to be the same part. Got my threading die lined up with the Jacobs chuck and the tailstock just to keep it square. Just running around here getting a feel, trying to get it to line up on the threads that are partially cut, and there it goes. Keep a little bit of pressure on it to keep it square. Get it started good, and then I'll be able to back the tailstock off here, and then I can just thread it down just like you would a normal threading procedure. But it's all square because it's following what the lathe did already. And I'll run this all the way in and then back it off, and then the threads will be cut, and they'll be 2 spec. So then I can go over and cut the bolt off, and then we'll be about done. I'd say about this part of the video, I've got about 15 minutes in this bolt process. I was only setting at about 7 on the video, but I've edited a lot of the thread cutting out. Cutting the bolt off here on the bandsaw. I'm leaving it just a little bit long, so I have some machining room there for final profiling of that head. I've got my stop set up because I do need to make 12 of these, so I can just come over here and put it right in there and cut them off. I know they're all the same. Be sure to like and subscribe on the channel. It helps the channel out. I think I got some good content on there, some good machining with making a piston and doing other stuff for this restoration of this 1914 International Mogul 8-horse engine. Final engine will weigh about 3,000 pounds, so it'd be a neat process to look through here. There's 52 videos on the channel, counting this one now, so look through, and ought to be something there to watch. But we'll get this parted off and then get back over on the lathe for the last lathe procedure. Got the bolt in the lathe now. The threads are back in the chuck, so you're looking at the top of the bolt here. I'm going to make a little bit of a center drill hole here to kind of help gauge depth of how much material I'm taking off for the final profile. It's not an exact science, but I just try to have a little gauge there. So I'm going to come in with a insert tool here and try to take a little bit of the material off so I don't have to do it all with the file. But this steel machines pretty easily. It's actually probably like 1030 or something like that. It's not a real like a machine shafting steel or anything like that. So machine's pretty nice and pretty easy. But I'll do the hand filing off camera and then let you see the final bolt. So this is one. So this is about 20 minutes worth of work here, and I've got 11 more to go. Here's 10 of them. I think they turned out really nice. Got them primed and ready for paint. This would be $160 worth of bolts if I actually bought them. So I'm pretty pleased with being able to make them, and I think they turned out pretty nice. I got 2 more bolts to make though. These 2 bolts will be 5/16 18, and they're 3 inches long. They actually hold the reservoir of the mixer onto the mixer on this Mogul. There's 2 of them, so here I am just going through the process real fast. It took a long time to make these 2 bolts. They didn't go as fast as those other ones. But anyway, they turned out really good, and I'll show you here in just a second the process for filing, a little bit of the filing process. I put it in a vise, and then I just take a file and I just go by feel and appearance, and it's amazing how well you can do when you do it that way. You get a feel for it, and file them right off and put that profile on them, and I think it just turned out really good. Well, here's the 2 bolts that I made for the mixer. I think they turned out just as good as the other ones, I think. I'm really pleased with them. So get those all primed and painted up, and then we'll be done making bolts for a while. I do have a few more bolts to make, but I'm not going to make them at this time. I'll hold off and get some other assembly done, and then make some bolts at another time. Well, that's it for this video. Next video I'll be doing some more assembly, and I'm thinking about doing a Q&A video one of these times, answer some comments and stuff. And by the way, be sure and leave a comment, subscribe and like as well. It really helps the channel out, and I really enjoy the comments. But I've had some questions and stuff, and I'll probably do a Q&A on those questions here one of these days. But thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.